अच्छा, इंडिया इकोनॉमिक्स में there are two branches, macro and micro. In micro, what we study, suppose I have 100 rupees. Now, how I am going to use that 100 rupees, whether I am going to purchase a book or purchase a coffee or purchase a burger. So, how that 100 rupees I am going to utilize it, this is a part of micro study. So, how individual agents means individuals, companies, if Reliance has certain money, how they are going to utilize it to maximize their profit, this is a study of micro. So micro doesn't mean small, micro means the study of individual economic agents behavior. It can be individual company, it can be individual human being. So micro mein we study things at the individual level. In macro, macro is the study about those parameters. Macro is the study about those parameters which affect at the country level. For example, inflation. So inflation is a variable, a parameter we measure at the country level. GDP, growth, investment, export, forex reserves. So all these parameters we study at the country level. So the study of these parameters, these variables, is a part of macro study. Your syllabus is macro. आपको macro पढ़ना है, you don't need to read micro. समझ गए? Sometimes एक आध क्वेश्चन माइक्रो से आ सकता है, but that is very common sense, logical base. So for that you don't need to study micro. If there is something, we will discuss it. But your whole focus is on macro. Now, in any economy, any country, any country's government, it faces three questions. Any country, you take any economy, any country, that country faces three questions. What goods and services should be produced in that country? What goods and services should be produced in that country? For example, should we produce cars more or bicycle more? Should we produce wheat more or rice more, or pulses more or edible oil? So what goods, every country faces this question, that what goods and services should be produced. Then the second question that every country faces is how it should be produced. Should we produce electricity by solar or wind or by thermal? Should we produce textiles, garments by more labor or more machines? So how it should be produced? ठीक है? So every country faces this question, that whatever we are going to produce, how we are going to produce. And the third question is for whom? For whom we should produce. For example, if we are producing bicycles, if we are not producing cars, and rather than we are producing more bicycles, that means we are targeting the poor people. For whom? ठीक है? If we are producing luxury homes and more and not that affordable homes, that means we are producing for the rich class. So for whom we are trying to produce? BMW and Audi, these companies, they are producing for the rich class. ठीक है? If you have to produce education, post independence period we focused more on IIT and IIMs, and basic primary education was missing. So for whom we are producing education, that is fine, but for whom? So that is also a question which every country faces. So any country faces three questions: what goods and services we should produce, how it should be produced, and for whom it should be produced. If the answer to these three questions is government means if government of a country is deciding that what should be produced, how it should be produced, and for whom it should be produced, then it is called a socialist economy or command economy बोलते हैं. If in any country government is taking all these decisions that what we should produce, how it should be produced, and for whom it should be produced, then that economy is called a socialist economy, command economy. And if the answer to these three questions, if the market forces of demand and supply is deciding what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce, then it is called a capitalist economy. ठीक है. We are producing more Mahindra cars, Scorpio, Bolero. Why? Because there is a demand. So market forces of demand and supply is deciding that how many cars we should produce. Before 1991, government used to decide, but now market is deciding. ठीक है. Now, so in a capitalist economy, all these three questions are decided by the market forces of demand and supply. Unacademy has started producing physical education. Earlier, it was in online mode. So why it entered into physical mode? Because the market forces of demand told that there is a more demand for physical courses. So now, a private sector, we have started producing physical education. ठीक है. So basically, there are two types of economies, socialist or capitalist. But none of the countries in this world are either complete socialist or complete capitalist. You cannot find a country where all these things are decided by the government, or all these things are decided by the capitalists. For example, US, more of a capitalist kind of economy. But do you think that in US, all the goods and services which are being produced is being decided by only by private sector or market forces? No. Certain sectors, certain things are being decided by the government. So every country is in between here, is on this line. Neither 100% here nor 100% here. We are on this line. But almost every country is moving into this direction. India before 1991 was this side. Post 1991 पता है ना? जैसे आप हिस्ट्री और पॉलिटिक्स में रिमेंबर करते हो 1947, तो इकोनॉमी के लिए it was 1991. बताएंगे, we will discuss in detail. So before 1991, India was more of a socialist kind of economy. Means at that time, how much fertilizer needs to be produced, government used to decide. How much automobiles needs to be produced, government used to decide. But now these things are being decided by the market force. So post 1991, we have started moving. Almost every country in this world has started moving into this direction. Why? Huh? So that you agree that almost every country started moving into this direction. Even in China, there are more private companies than government companies. Don't think that China mein government. There are more from all over the world. Most of the best companies are there, have their offices in China. So almost every country is moving in this direction. Why almost every India is also moving in this direction? Why every country is moving into this direction is because earlier 20, 30, 50, 100 years back, a majority of countries were here. Now we have started moving into this direction because with experience, all these countries realized that when we have a socialist model of economy, we are not able to utilize our resources efficiently. When we had this model, those countries where government was deciding what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce, then the utilization of resources was not that efficient. But when it was left to market forces, we have increased the utilization of resources. The efficiency of utilization has increased. And when you start using your resources more efficiently, our wealth starts increasing. So, for example, before 1991, we were here. What do you think? Why we started shifting here? Because with our bitter experience, we realized that in a socialist model, we are not able to utilize our resources efficiently. So we dismantled that model and we started following this model. And you know that if we are not able to utilize our resources efficiently, then we will not be able to increase the wealth or income for our people. So most of the countries have, I'm not saying that this is the best model, but I'm just saying that resource utilization is better in this model as compared. For example, very simple example, Vivek Singh teaching economy. If I would have been a government teacher, ठीक है, तो ना वो बुक होती, ना टेलीग्राम होता, और हम वहीं पे बैठे रहते 2.5 घंटा, समझ रहे हो? हम आउट से उठते ही नहीं। आप क्या कर लेते? कुछ नहीं कर लेते। तो मेरे में जो एफिशिएंसी आई है बिकॉज ऑफ मार्केट फोर्स। तो इन अ प्राइवेट सेक्टर where market decides, resource utilization is better. Everyone is working more efficient because their growth is driven by performance. So every country realized that if market forces will decide this, resource efficient, we start utilizing our resources efficiently. When we start utilizing our resources efficiently, we become rich, and every country wants to become rich. So most of the countries are moving to this direction. This may not be the best, but till now we have not been able to find a better model than this. So almost every country is moving into this direction just to increase their resource utilization, improve the efficiency of resource utilization. ठीक है, इस पे डिटेल डिस्कशन है लेटर ऑन व्हेन वी विल बी डिस्कसिंग द इंडियन इकोनॉमिक हिस्ट्री। आफ्टर 25 क्लासेस जब कॉन्सेप्ट खत्म हो जाएगा, देन इन डिटेल विल बी डिस्कसिंग दिस मॉडल। अभी जस्ट आपको मैं ब्रीफ बैकग्राउंड दे दिया, ठीक है। नाउ टू अंडरस्टैंड इकोनॉमी इन अ बेटर वे, ध्यान से सुनते जाओ। आपको मे भी अभी इजी लग रहा होगा, लेकिन कब ये इजी से टफ में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा, ठीक है। हाँ, तो लिसन केयरफुली। नाउ टू अंडरस्टैंड द इकोनॉमी इन अ बेटर, ये तो ऐसे ही ब्रीफ बैकग्राउंड था। टू अंडरस्टैंड द इकोनॉमी इन अ बेटर वे, वी आर गोइंग टू डिवाइड द होल इकोनॉमी इनटू 4 सेक्टर्स। बिकॉज सेक्टर्स का क्लासिफिकेशन हैपेंस इन अ डिफरेंट वे, प्राइमरी, सेकेंडरी, टर्सरी भी करते हैं, एग्रीकल्चर, इंडस्ट्री, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, एग्रीकल्चर, इंडस्ट्री, सर्विसेज भी करते हैं। Then there is another way of dividing the whole economy into 4 sectors. So अलग अलग classification है depending on what you want to do. So to understand the economy in a better way, we are going to classify the whole economy into 4 sectors. 4 sectors of economy. And while I am teaching, कोशिश करो कि आप बोर्ड पे और यहाँ फोकस करो। जो हमारी बुक है वो घर पे भी पढ़ना, मतलब थोड़ा वो देख सकते हो आपकी क्या है उसमें, एवरीथिंग व्हाट एवर आई एम टेलिंग इट हियर वो उसमें लिखा हुआ, बट कोशिश करो कि थोड़ा सा क्लास पे फोकस करो। 4 सेक्टर्स ऑफ इकोनॉमी। सो फर्स्ट सेक्टर इज गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर। We are dividing the whole economy into 4 sectors for our better understanding. The first sector is government sector. Now, what all things are included in government sector? Administration, police, safety, security, ठीक है, and all the government companies. What is there in the government sector? The infrastructure, police, administration, BSF, army, plus all government companies. They all belong to गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर, ठीक है। तो गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर में ऑल द गवर्नमेंट मिनिस्ट्रीज, डिपार्टमेंट्स, पुलिस, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन प्लस गवर्नमेंट कंपनी जिसको हम लोग PSUs कहते हैं, ठीक। सेकेंड इज प्राइवेट सेक्टर। What all things are included in private sector? All the companies, businesses owned by private individuals. Unacademy, ठीक है, Amazon. So all the businesses or companies owned by private individuals belong to private sector. Tata, Birla, Adani, सब, ठीक है। So all the businesses, companies owned by private individuals belong to private sector. Third is household sector. What belongs to household sector? Household sector में क्या आता है बताइए कुछ। देखो जो सोचते हो बोलो, डोंट हेजिटेट कि सामने वाला क्या सोचेगा, सामने वाले को भी कुछ नहीं पता है। हाँ, स्मॉल इंडस्ट्री, स्मॉल और लार्ज। तो हाउस होल्ड सेक्टर में ऑल द ह्यूमन बींग्स ऑफ इंडिया, ऑल द ह्यूमन बींग्स ऑफ इंडिया belong to household sector. Vivek, you all are part of household sector. 140 crore people in India, they belong to household sector. How we define one household? A common kitchen, ठीक है? जैसे if I am living with my wife and 2 children, so all these 4 will constitute one household. We all 4 are part of household sector, but we 4 will constitute one household. If my parents are there somewhere else and we are living here, so parents, my mother and father, will do both of they will constitute one household, and me, my wife and 2 children will constitute one household. If we live together, then we all may be constituting one household. So how we define one household, you understand? Generally a common kitchen where the consumption decision is taken jointly, generally. But who are part of household sector? All human beings. No, GDP, I don't know what is GDP. अभी तो हमने GDP पता ही नहीं है पीछे. Income has nothing to do with household sector. Household is human beings. Household is human beings. Just I said, all the businesses owned by private people belong to private sector. In the same way, all the human beings belong to household sector. All the companies owned by government belong to government. For example, this is Reliance Industries Limited. Mukesh Ambani owns this 100%. Let's say. RIL belongs to which sector? Private sector. Mukesh Ambani belongs to which sector? Household sector, because he is a human being. If Vivek works in Reliance, Vivek works in Reliance, so Vivek belongs to which sector? Household sector. So Vivek belongs to household sector, Reliance belongs to private sector. Vivek gives his mental labor to RIL and RIL pays wages. So Vivek belongs to different sector, RIL belongs to different sector, but both are linked by a relationship. The relationship is Vivek is giving his mental labor and RIL is giving wages. So they are linked, but they don't belong to the same sector. RIL is private sector, Vivek is household sector. For example, NTPC. NTPC belongs to which sector? Government sector, because it is owned by government of India. Now, let's say Vivek works in NTPC. So Vivek belongs to which sector? Household sector. NTPC belongs to government sector. But both Vivek and NTPC are joined by a relationship. Vivek works and NTPC. ठीक है? देखो, residential colleges. So the students residing there, those students, human beings, will be part of household sector. For example, देखो, जैसे Reliance है. Now Reliance is selling some output. So if Reliance is selling some output, who is selling that output? There is a name XYZ, Reliance, RIL. All the employees working in Reliance, those employees, those human beings are part of household sector. Whatever output was sold, see, suppose Reliance made a profit of 1000. Now that profit doesn't belong to the human being. That profit belongs to the RIL. ठीक है, तो ह्यूमन बींग्स आर पार्ट ऑफ हाउसहोल्ड सेक्टर. द कंपनी के बारे में भी आपको बताऊंगा. इट्स एन एंटिटी रजिस्टर्ड ऑन अ पीस ऑफ पेपर. इफ Unacademy is generating certain revenue, so that is not my revenue, that is Unacademy's revenue. Human household में all human beings. Every company has employee, but those employee are different and the company's profit is different. Profit belongs to company. ठीक है, ये जनरल अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए, ऐसा नहीं कि इससे कोई क्वेश्चन पूछा जाने वाला है. जस्ट फॉर योर ब्रॉडर पिक्चर. फोर्थ इज एक्सटर्नल. See, suppose this is Indian economy. This is Indian economy. Here we have government also. Here we have private sector also. Here we have household sector also. Now, external sector, this Indian economy, does it impacted by external sector? Yes. whatever goods and services are coming into India, whatever goods and services are going out of India, whatever money is coming into India, whatever money is going out of India, they all are part of external sector. See, external sector means basically whatever is external to Indian economy. Now, whatever is external to Indian economy, why we are studying as a part of Indian economy? Because the external sector impacts this economy. Whatever is external to Indian economy, all the foreign governments, foreign companies, foreign people, do they impact Indian economy? Yes. They purchase from here, they sell it to here. ठीक है? So external sector basically includes all those things which are going out of India. All those goods, services, money are coming into India are part of external sector. I said that to understand the economy in a better way, we are going to divide the whole economy into 4 sectors. So 3 are part of India. The fourth, why we are studying it as a part of Indian economy? Because that is also impacting Indian economy. ये just एक broader समझने के point of view से, ठीक है? So whatever is coming into India, either goods, services or money, or whatever is going out of India is considered as part of external sector. अभी इसका use आएगा तब आप डिटेल में समझ जाओगे. So we have divided the whole economy into 4 sectors. Now let us take one sector and study in detail. Private sector. अब ध्यान से समझना. So what constitutes private sector? प्राइवेट कंपनीज, उसको हम लोग फर्म्स बोलते हैं. फर्म्स, कंपनीज, एंटरप्राइजेस. फर्म्स फर्म्स और कंपनीज और एंटरप्राइजेस. और पेशेंस के साथ समझना, डोंट गिव अप. ठीक है, कुछ लोग 2-3 क्लास के बाद यार अब तो नहीं हो पाएगा, ऐसा नहीं करना. ठीक है, हैव पेशेंस और थोड़ा सा ज्यादा एफर्ट ला के समझने की कोशिश करो. फर्म्स. So private sector include firms. What is the basic function of a firm, company? Basic function of a company to produce output. Profit is basically objective of a firm. ठीक है? The basic function of a company is to produce output. Output means goods and services. I'm going to write here goods. Services are already included here. I will tell you. Services इसी में included. So this is a firm whose basic function is to produce output, means goods and services. Services are already included. Now to produce this output, this firm may require inputs. This firm may require inputs. Now it may require one input, it may require two input, it may require thousands of inputs. We are going to divide all the inputs broadly into 4 categories. This firm may require several inputs. We are going to divide all the inputs into broadly 4 categories. The most important input for any company is credit. ये क्या होता है? लैंड, लेबर, सब बता दो आप लोग. Entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is the most important input. Entrepreneur is outside this company. This firm, let's say Reliance Industries. Now, firm is just a name written on a piece of paper. Mukesh Ambani was the owner of RIL. Always keep the owner outside the company. Owner belongs to household sector, company belongs to private sector. Always keep the owner, entrepreneur outside the company. जब outside रखोगे, then only it can act as an input. If you will insert the owner here in the firm, how it will provide input? So entrepreneur is different, belonging to household sector, firm belongs to private sector. This entrepreneur provides input to this company. What input it provides? And when I'm saying कि entrepreneur is providing input, देखो आप समझो, Let's say this is an academy. Now, what is Unacademy? Unacademy is just a name written on a piece of paper with the registrar of Bangalore companies, with the registrar of companies in Bangalore. So, Unacademy is nothing, it's just a piece of paper. It's just a name written on a piece of paper. All the entrepreneurs are outside Unacademy and they are giving input to Unacademy. So, Unacademy क्या अपने आप में? Unacademy is just a name written on a piece of paper registered with the registrar of companies. The entrepreneurs are outside the company. The entrepreneur belongs to household sector and Unacademy is belonging to private sector. So entrepreneur is providing some input. What kind of input it is? What it is providing to Unacademy? So whatever I will discuss कि क्या provide करता है. Whatever it provides, in return, what this Unacademy gives? हाँ ये सबको पता है. See, if someone is providing some input, they are not going to provide it for free. So Unacademy gives return profit. In the same way, the other input is labor. Like Vivek. Vivek is giving his mental labor to Unacademy. ठीक है? Vivek is, I am not basically, I am giving my mental labor to Unacademy. Unacademy is producing educational services and then it is selling it to you. So Vivek is giving mental labor. So if Vivek is giving something to this company, company will also. Then, so a company may require several inputs. We are going to divide all the inputs into broadly 4 categories. ये सब standard बना हुआ, बहुत ज़्यादा nitty-gritty में नहीं जाना है, but a general understanding से. The other input is natural resources. Natural resources. Natural resources में land plus raw material. ठीक है, land and raw material. जैसे for example, if this is Jindal Steel, if this is Jindal Steel, तो उनके लिए land and coal all these are natural resources. And such whoever provides natural resources, the company will have to pay something. Whatever company pays, that is called rent. And the other important input is capital. Capital is also an input for the firm. Capital is an input for the firm. And whatever in return is paid is called interest. So, entrepreneur you understand, labor you understand, natural resource you understand. Let us discuss in detail about the capital, a very most important term of economy, that is called capital. So this diagram वो ये इधर extend होगा. Below this you write 3 characteristics of capital. इसके नीचे ये बना रहे हो ना अपने कॉपी में, हाँ या बुक पे ही डिपेंडेंट हो? कई लोग हैं बुक पे ही डिपेंडेंट, इतना मत डिपेंडेंट हो जाओ. इसके नीचे आप दिस विल एक्सटेंड हियर, ठीक है? इसके नीचे यू राइट 3 characteristics of capital goods. फर्स्ट लिखो आप, it is an output of man-made process. Second characteristic you write, it again acts as an input for further production process. You write, while acting as an input, it doesn't get lost or transformed or consumed. If this is Unacademy, what is the output? कौन सा goods? GS Foundation course, ठीक है? This is Unacademy. This is GS Foundation course. This is Vivek and other staff. This is there are 2 3 promoters. Now coming to capital, this building is capital or not? For this building, you check the 3 characteristics, whether the 3 characteristics are true or not for this building. Check करो. With the 3 characteristics, you check ये building पे the 3 characteristics are true or not. True है. How many of you think true है? And how many of you think false है? False है. अच्छा. तो इस building पे let us check, is this building an output of a man-made process? Yes, first is true. Second, it is again acting, तो इसको किसी ने बनाया है, ठीक है, किसी बिल्डर ने. Now, is this building again acting as an input to produce something? Yes, this building, we are using it to produce educational services. And while this building is being used to produce educational services, is this building getting lost or transformed or consumed? No, it is remaining as it is. So, all the three characteristics are true on this building. That's why this building is a capital. कोई डाउट इसमें? ये डिजिटल बोर्ड, check whether this digital board is capital good or not. Check all the three characteristics, आप मैच करो कि इस डिजिटल बोर्ड पे whether it is getting true or not. अरे सैकड़ों साल बाद हुआ ना, it is remaining as it is. आप देखो, जैसे if you are producing steel, तो coal is getting consumed in production of steel. Coal is getting consumed, transformed or lost. But this building is remaining as it is, hundreds of years तक रहेगा, ठीक है. So now you have to use कि in case of, if this is Unacademy, can we say that this digital board is capital good? This digital board, it has been produced by a particular company. It is again acting as an input for production of education. And while this is acting as an input, it is not getting lost or consumed, it is remaining as. थोड़ा बहुत wear and tear is a different thing. उसको मैं अलग से explain करूंगा, depreciation. Wear and tear is different thing, but this is not getting lost or consumed. ठीक है. So if this is an academy, this is GS Foundation course, and capital is building, digital board, ये ट्यूबलाइट का रॉड, ठीक है ना? एनीथिंग एल्स? हाँ, चेयर, राइट, चेयर, कैमरा, ऑल दीज आर कैपिटल गुड्स. इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, ये जो लाइट आ रही है, ठीक है, करंट और लाइट जो भी करो, इज दिस अ कैपिटल गुड? चेक वेदर इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इज कैपिटल गुड और नॉट. व्हिच कैरेक्टरिस्टिक इज नॉट ट्रू? थर्ड वन इज नॉट ट्रू. So this electricity, it has been produced by a man-made process, कोई plant चल रहा है. This is again being used as an input for producing education. But while this is acting as an input, it is getting lost. This is not constant. Every moment new electricity is coming. The flow is so continuous that you don't see it. But every time new electricity is coming, the previous electricity is consumed. Otherwise, we will not have to pay the electricity bill. अगर ये कंज्यूम नहीं होता तो यू डोंट नीड टू पे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. ठीक है. सो दिस इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इज नॉट अ कैपिटल. समझ गए? नाउ कमिंग टू गुड्स, देयर कैन बी टू टाइप्स ऑफ गुड्स, इंटरमीडिएट एंड फाइनल. इंटरमीडिएट एंड फाइनल. इंटरमीडिएट गुड्स किसको बोलते हैं? इट हैज बीन प्रोड्यूस्ड बाय अ मैन-मेड प्रोसेस, but you can't use it directly, it must further transform. For example, स्टील सीट, स्टील का रोल्ड सीट देखे हो ट्रक्स पे जाते हुए, तो दैट स्टील सीट, is it a natural resource? No. It has been produced by a man-made process. Can you use it directly? No. It must further transform into car or something so that you can use it. So intermediate goods means it has been produced by a man-made process, but you can't use it directly. It will again transform into some other product so that you are able to use it. ठीक है? So all the intermediate goods are ultimately converted into final goods. So we will not discuss intermediate goods in detail because every intermediate good will again get converted into final good. तो इसका बेस्ट एग्जांपल है रोल्ड स्टील. So intermediate means it has been produced, but it will further transform before you can use it directly. ठीक है? अच्छा. Now final goods are of two types. Consumption रोल्ड स्टील, स्टील शीट देखो ना वही। फाइनल गुड्स, तो लेट्स फोकस ऑन फाइनल गुड्स. फाइनल गुड्स आर ऑफ टू टाइप्स, कंजम्पशन एंड कैपिटल. Consumption can further again be classified as durable, I said that services are included here, so all the services are part of consumption goods. Durable generally we say life greater than 3 years. बहुत exact segregation नहीं, but for example durable में टीवी, वॉशिंग मशीन. नॉन ड्यूरेबल में फूड, क्लॉथ्स, सर्विसेज, यू हैव एजुकेशन, हेल्थ. तो आपको इस पे ध्यान रखना है फाइनल गुड्स. तो इफ दिस इज अनअकैडमी, अनअकैडमी इज प्रोड्यूसिंग व्हाट? ठीक है. अच्छा, इंटरमीडिएट गुड्स, लेट्स समथिंग डिस्कस समथिंग मोर रिगार्डिंग इंटरमीडिएट गुड्स. इंटरमीडिएट गुड्स अगेन देखो, देयर आर सर्टेन गुड्स which you can directly tell कि वो intermediate है. For example, rolled steel intermediate. But there are certain intermediate goods जिसमें depend करता है कि उसके uses पे. For example, how to segregate intermediate goods. जैसे टी लीव्स, चाय पत्ती. तो टी लीव्स इज इंटरमीडिएट और फाइनल? It depends. It depends. When the tea seller in old Rajendranagar, when the tea seller purchases tea leaves, converts into tea and sells tea to you, then their tea leaves is intermediate goods. Tea leaves is intermediate goods. But when I purchase tea leaves for my home, when I purchase tea leaves for my home, their tea leaves is final good. Their tea leaves is final good. Why is this so? कैसे पता करेंगे कि whether it is intermediate or final? So you just need to check the last market transaction. Last market transaction. In my case, at home, the last transacted product in the market is tea leaves. The last transacted product in the market is tea leaves. So that is final. Whether I am having those tea leaves in the form of tea powder, or I am using milk, or I am using water, doesn't matter. The last transacted product in my case was tea leaves. So tea leaves is final. In the tea seller case, the last transacted product in the market is tea. So whatever he purchased before that, that is intermediate. So in case of tea seller, tea leaves is intermediate. In my case, tea leaves is final because that is the last transacted product. ठीक है. तो if you have any doubt regarding intermediate goods, you check the last transacted product. ठीक है. अब rolled steel, rolled steel से ऑटोमोबाइल बनेगा, that will be the last transacted product. Now ये क्लियर है इंटरमीडिएट का. Now using this logic, tell me the electricity, जो light, the electricity which is coming. Now the electricity which is coming here at Unacademy office, this electricity, ठीक, is intermediate or final? और हमेशा देखो अपना लॉजिक लगाना. Whatever the entire class is saying doesn't matter. ठीक है. If you think your concept is correct, fine. So you apply your logic and tell me. You have got 30 seconds. This electricity which is coming here, whether it is intermediate or final. So how many of you think this electricity is final? कोल से इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेट हुआ, दिस इलेक्ट्रिसिटी से एजुकेशन प्रोड्यूस हुआ. what is the last transacted product in the market? Yes, foundation course. Unacademy purchased an intermediate good called electricity. Unacademy purchased an intermediate good. The way Maruti is purchasing rolled steel and producing cars. Unacademy purchased electricity and converted into GS Foundation course, and it sold GS Foundation course to you. Okay. Now this electricity, is it a natural resource? No. Is it a final good? No. If this would have been the last transacted product, then it would have been the final good. But the last transacted product here is the GS Foundation course. So this is the final good. This is intermediate. This is raw material. At my home, I purchase electricity and I teach my children. At home, I purchase electricity and teach my children. Now there also I am producing education. ठीक है? But not to be sold in the market. So at home, electricity is the final good because the last transacted product is electricity. Here, Unacademy purchased electricity, converted into education, and education GS Foundation was sold in the market. So last transacted product was GS Foundation. So electricity becomes intermediate here. समझ गए? किसी को कोई डाउट इसमें? किस एक सेकेंड टी लीव्स फॉर माई होम पर्पज एंड फॉर द टी सेलर, किसके केस में? दोनों केस में इंटरमीडिएट. हाँ तो एक तो इंटरमीडिएट हम बोले ही हैं. हमारे घर के केस में हाउ इट कैन बी इंटरमीडिएट? यस टेल मी. ठीक भाई, तो वहां पे आप टी लीव्स एट माई होम, व्हाट यू आर सेइंग कि टी लीव्स क्या है? फाइनल है? हाँ, इंटरमीडिएट है. देन व्हाट इज द एक सेकंड, यू आर सेइंग कि एट माई होम टी लीव्स इज इंटरमीडिएट, देन व्हाट इज द फाइनल? हाँ, अरे सीड्स तो उसके पीछे यूज हुआ है ना. हाउ? अरे सीड्स को तो कैसे बोल सकते हो? टी लीव्स एट योर होम, टी लीव्स वाज द लास्ट ट्रांजैक्टेड प्रोडक्ट. आप टी लीव्स, आई परचेज टी लीव्स, and whether I consume tea leaves or mixed with milk and then I consumed, or I created a powder of this and then I consumed, doesn't matter. Last transacted product was tea leaves, is still a tea leaves final. At tea seller, the last transacted product in the market is cup of tea, so tea leaves becomes intermediate. ठीक है, इसमें तो नहीं डाउट होना चाहिए. Here आप यहाँ पे समझ गए. Here electricity is intermediate. At home electricity is final. Because the last transacted product is electricity. यहाँ पे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के बाद जीएस फाउंडेशन कोर्स यू आर परचेसिंग. ठीक. अच्छा, नाउ समटाइम्स जैसे कंजम्पशन और कैपिटल, देयर इज अ डेफिनेशन. ठीक है, डेफिनेशन क्या है इंटरमीडिएट गुड्स का? इट हैज बीन प्रोड्यूस्ड बट यू कांट कंज्यूम इट डायरेक्टली, इट मस्ट फर्दर बी ट्रांसफॉर्म. ये डेफिनेशन. इस डेफिनेशन में कुछ एक्सेप्शंस आते हैं. टू क्लियर दैट एक्सेप्शन, आई सेड कि क्रॉस चेक करो what is the last transacted product in the market. Last transacted product in the market. एक होता है raw material, intermediate and final good. तो at my case at home जो टी लीव्स है, नहीं आप इलेक्ट्रिसिटी की बात कर रहे हो. हाँ, in my case मैंने घर पे I purchased electricity. Now of course I'm using electricity to produce educational services, or I'm using electricity to produce food, जो इलेक्ट्रिक अपना वो स्टोव होता है. ठीक है, I'm using electricity, so electricity is being used and it is being transformed. ठीक है, but whatever it is producing, that is not being sold in the market. The last product that I purchased from the market was electricity. एक सैंपल इनका क्लियर करने दें. तो लास्ट ट्रांजैक्टेड प्रोडक्ट वाज इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. that's why we consider it final. For example, अभी बताता हूँ, रेस्टोरेंट ओनर, they purchased आशीर्वाद आटा, ठीक है, and they converted into chapati and then they sold chapati to you when you went to restaurant. So what is the final output, atta or chapati? Chapati. But at my home, in my case, at my home, Ashirwad atta is the final good. Ashirwad atta is the final good. Because आटा से जो घर पे रोटी बन रही, that is not being sold in the market. The last transacted product in the market was आटा. अब मैं आटा ही ऐसे खा जाऊं या रोटी बनाऊं, पराठा बनाऊं, doesn't matter. Last transacted product was, I purchased washing machine and started producing washed clothes in the old Rajendranagar market. So here washing machine is a capital good. Capital. Here washing machine is a capital good. When I purchase washing machine for my home purpose, it's consumed. देखो, आप ध्यान से सुनो. At my home I purchase washing machine. Whatever three characteristics of capital goods that you have written, check whether those three characteristics are true or not for my home. Check करो. Yes. तीनों characteristic true है for my home. The three characteristics, अरे check करो बोल रहे हैं ना, the three characteristics that you have written. If I am purchasing washing machine at my home, whether those three characteristics are true or not. चलो first देखते हैं. The washing machine that I purchased at my home, it is an output of a man-made process. Yes. Is it being used to produce? It is being used for further production process. Yes, it is being used for the production of wash cloths. And while it is being used as an input, is it getting lost? No. So the three characteristics are true for my washing machine also. But then you should say that that should be capital good. So ऐसा तो है नहीं. So this definition is wrong. That three you have written, उसमें you need to add one word. The second characteristic that you have written, it is again used as an input for further production process to be sold in the market. Add karo. It is again used as an input for further production process to be sold in the market. It is again used as an input for further production process to be sold in the market. Now that washing machine at my home, are the three characteristics true? No. But if I purchase washing machine and started selling washed cloths in the market, then that washing machine becomes capital good. So capital goods, certain capital goods, you can just see the name and tell. But certain items, it will depend on uses. TV at home is consumption good. TV here is capital uses. Because this TV is being used to produce education and to be sold in the market. So sometimes कुछ चीजें आप देख के बता सकते हो, but certain products it will depend on uses. So either intermediate goods or capital goods. Sometimes it will depend on uses. कैसे use हो रहा है वो चीज. और बहुत आपको इस पे रिसर्च नहीं करना. You should have a basic understanding. ठीक है, समझ गए? अच्छा. Now suppose this is Mahindra Tractors Private Limited, a company. This is Mahindra Tractors Private Limited. So entrepreneur will be Anand Mahindra. If this is Mahindra Tractors Private Limited, what will be this? तो क्या होगा ये? Tractor. Mahindra Tractors Private Limited produces capital goods. Unacademy produces consumption goods. ठीक है. अब देखो इधर बोर्ड पे, one day I opened a company, Vivek Agri Farm. I opened this company. So here Vivek is the entrepreneur. I hired some labor, natural resources, land and other natural resources, and I used capital. Vivek Agri Farms, there will be certain labor, land, Vivek is the entrepreneur. This firm used this tractor as capital. and produced wheat, which is a consumption. Now this tractor, it is an output of a man-made process. Mahindra Tractors Private Limited is producing tractor. So this tractor is an output of a man-made process. First characteristic of capital good true. This tractor is being used as an input for further production process. And while this tractor is being used as an input for further production process, it is not getting transformed or lost. इसलिए ये tractor capital good. If this is Mahindra Tractors Private Limited, what is the capital? कहाँ गायब? हाँ, iron. If this is Mahindra Tractors Private Limited, this is the factory building machines. Mahindra Tractors Private Limited के लिए what is the capital? Machines and building. If this is Unacademy, what is the capital? Building, machine. So if this is Mahindra Tractors Private Limited, this is building and machines. If a company is see, now forget about this. We should focus on this final. Final goods are of two types: consumption or capital. Either a company is producing consumption good or capital. For both, they require capital goods. The capital means capital goods. So if a company is producing capital goods, tractors, will that company require capital? Yes. If a company is producing consumption goods, will it require capital? Yes. So either production of consumption goods or capital goods, both require capital. McDonald's burger. So McDonald's is producing burger, which is a consumption. What is the capital? Building burger machine. So either you are producing consumption good or capital good. For both, we require capital goods. A company may require intermediate goods as a raw material, intermediate goods as an input, intermediate goods as an input. यहाँ पे intermediate goods का कहीं नहीं है. See, this was a standard classification given 100 years back. ठीक है, this was a standard classification. अब आप बोलोगे कि सर महिंद्रा ट्रैक्टर्स प्राइवेट लिमिटेड uses steel, where we should put steel? तो स्टील के लिए कोई अलग से सेपरेट नहीं है, we can put it here. This is just a standard classification. A company, ध्यान से सुनते जाना, otherwise आपको समझ में आएगा नहीं. A company may require as an input raw material, may require intermediate goods also it can use, and capital also it uses. A company may use intermediate goods, raw material, intermediate goods or capital goods as an input. Capital goods are used as an input. Raw material is also used as an input. Intermediate is also used as an input. The difference is when capital goods are used as an input, it remains as it is. It doesn't change. But when raw materials or intermediate goods are used as an input, it gets transformed. समझ गए? It gets transformed. These four, अच्छा land मैंने capital में नहीं रखा है. I have kept it here. Why land is not capital? The first characteristic is not true. It is not an output of a man-made process. It was naturally available. There are four inputs of the production process. Four inputs of production process. इसी को हम लोग बोलते हैं four factors of production. Entrepreneur, capital, natural resource, and labor are the four factors of production or four inputs of production. So they are providing inputs. So if this is Unacademy, promoters, owners are providing input. Someone provided the building, someone gave land, and someone gave labor. Combined all this, the Unacademy produced educational service. When this educational services GS Foundation course is sold, the money comes to this Unacademy. Money comes to the Unacademy. Let's say the GS Foundation course was sold in 100 rupees. So 100 rupees comes here. But Unacademy is nothing, it's just a name written on a piece of paper. These four people, four things have come together to produce education. So when the education was sold at rupees 100, that 100 rupees will again be distributed. ठीक है? The 100 rupees will come as wages, rent, interest and profit. Money is given to owner, money is given to the person who have given capital, money is given to the person who has given education, and money is given to the labor. When the money is returned to the labor, that money is called wages. When the money is returned to the natural resources, that is called rent. When money is given for the capital, that is called interest. And when the money is given to the entrepreneur, it is called profit. So all this is basically money. Depending on to whom it is returned, this terminology changes. समझ गए? तो ये मत पूछना कि सर why we call it interest. Whatever money is given for the capital, we have coined a term called interest. ठीक है? तो four factors of production: entrepreneur, capital, natural resource and labor. And these four things are returned to them. And firm अपने आप में, it's nothing, just a piece of paper. For example, we four, you three and me, we four came together and produced a burger worth rupees 100. In whose name? In XYZ Private Limited. We came together and for the requirements of the government, we formed a company, firm XYZ. So we came together and produced a burger. Now, if the burger was sold in 100 rupees, who will get 100 rupees? We four. Because XYZ is just a name written on a piece of paper, it is nothing. It's just a passive object. समझ रहे हो?